long line of people are not going to let me go home.
There's no fun way to do this.
Until I have signed their books.
Joe, how do you clear out negative self-talk?
Become a loving detective of your own mental activity. And you want to reach for the thoughts that feel good. You get more of whatever you focus on. Focus on the positive thoughts, and those negative ones are going to start to drop away, or you won't pay attention to them as much.
You receive ideas and opportunities, you act on them, and you achieve your goal. That's your intention. When you state an intention, you realign your body and mind to go in the direction of a new target.
I said that if you're not wealthy, and you want to be wealthy, it's probably because of a counter-intention within yourself. You can take all kinds of action, have all kinds of intentions, watch The Secret over and over and over again, but you won't get a change if you don't take care of the counter-intention.
What I want you to realize is that the money you have right now and the spiritual sense that you have right now is based on a mindset that has been pretty much given to you.
What's possible for you? I say anything is possible. And as I like to always say, expect miracles.
I didn't know they were playing a movie as I was coming up. I was just going to sit and relax and watch the show. Thank you for coming out. Welcome to the Napoleon Hill Institute live in New York, Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. How many of you have peace of mind? One hand, a couple of half hands. I want to give you a technique that I use every day and I've been using today because I'm excited and I have a lot of psychic energy going on and I want to be present for you. I want to be present to bring in what I call the divine, what Napoleon Hill called infinite intelligence, and I want to deliver a message to you, a very important message to you today. How many of you already know about Ho'oponopono? I can go home. How many of you read Zero Limits? Oh, only a few of you. Okay. I want to tell you the most amazing story. A story that changed my life when I first heard it. This is a direct path to zero limits. This is a story that when I first heard it, I thought it was made up. It was an urban legend. It couldn't be true. It was a story of a therapist who helped heal an entire ward of mentally ill criminals without seeing any of them therapeutically. I was told he used some sort of woo-woo, some sort of magic, some sort of spiritual technique that nobody knew about. That was from ancient Hawaii, maybe the Polynesian islands. Some rumored it came from Lemuria, and others said it came from outer space. It sounds like it's made up. It can't be real. But I kept hearing the story. This is around 2003, 2004. Back then, there was nothing on the internet. There were no books about it. There were a few people who knew about it, but they were very tight-lipped about it. And they were oddballs, for the most part, and didn't know how to communicate what they were doing. And I thought, if this story is true, somebody has to tell the world. So I began a quest to find out the truth. And I found out, first of all, that is the Hawaii State Hospital circa 1980s. True place, true building, true inmates, mentally ill criminals that were so dangerous, so unpredictable, they had to be shackled or sedated on a daily basis. Pretty unnerving, right? Pretty scary. Doctors quit, nurses quit, social workers quit, and yet the hospital needed to have the licensed therapists in order to have their funding. And so they went and got a guy. Dr. E. Haleakula Hulen. I found out he was real. I did workshops with him. I wrote the first book about this story with him, and that's him with me on a couple different occasions. And when I first talked to him, I wanted to know everything about this story and this technique. How did this technique help heal mentally ill criminals at a state hospital for the mentally insane? And how do you do it without drugs, without therapy, without working with the patients one-on-one? How is this possible? And he said he was only here to clean. Made no sense. He said his only job is to clean the data that would surface in his consciousness. Made no sense. And he said he was doing a workshop a week or so away, and he was in California. I was living in Texas at the time. He invited me to it. I went. Small group of people. Nobody knew what he was doing. Nobody knew about his method. And so it was under the radar. And I went there, and I met him, and I loved him. He had an esoteric, mystical, cranky godfather kind of an attitude about him. But we hit it off. And I asked questions about the story. And he said he did work there. He never worked with the patients. He worked with their records. He would look at their records, their files. And whatever he saw that triggered something in him, that's what he tried to clean on, what he called cleaning and clearing. It still didn't make sense to me. I did the whole weekend with him. Still didn't make sense to me. But he said at the heart of all of this was a concept called total responsibility. Total responsibility. And he asked me, he says, have you ever heard the phrase, you create your own reality? And I said, oh yeah, I'm one of the people who write about it. I teach it. And he said, well, if you create your own reality, and these problems are in your reality, didn't you create them? Oh, that caused my brain to screech to a halt. I was creating the very things I was complaining about, and he was taking responsibility for the mentally ill criminals in that hospital because they were in his awareness. Whatever is in your awareness, whatever was in his awareness, he took responsibility. Most of us, especially the people who see The Secret, New Agey junkies and so forth, we take responsibility for the good stuff. Yeah, I got the raise. Yeah, I got the soulmate. Yeah, I got the car. Yeah, I got enlightenment. But if something bad, in quotes, happens, we don't take responsibility for that. Dr. Hulen says the beginning of this method is 100% responsibility. If it's in your life experience, you have co-created it, probably unconsciously, but you had a role in it. That sounds intimidating until you hear how empowering it is. Because if you help co-create it, you can help uncreate it. But how? So he goes on and teaches me Ho'oponopono. And Ho'oponopono is actually very deep, very old, very complicated. But what he taught me were 4 basic phrases. And these are what I've been writing about and teaching about, and I'm going to share with you. These 4 phrases alone, without anything else, can transform your life. What are they? Simplest form, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, and thank you. I love you, please forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry. I can say them in any order. I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. So what in the world is going on? What he taught me is that you say those 4 phrases as a kind of prayer to divinity, to God, if you will. What Napoleon Hill would have called infinite intelligence. You're saying this as a request. You're saying this as a petition. You can say it as a prayer. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And so you're feeling whatever the problem is, and I'll go through this with you in a more precise way in a couple minutes. You're feeling whatever the problem is. You feel it's inside of yourself. You're taking responsibility for it, even though you don't want to and you don't know how you're responsible. And you're delivering this to the divine, to your connection to all that is. And you're saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And then you're letting go. Because you're trusting that power to, go back to the word that Dr. Hulen told me, to clean the situation. What are you cleaning? Your perceptions of the situation. So what do the 4 phrases work? Let me break it down a little bit. The one statement everybody objects to, they don't want to say, I'm sorry. You know what I hear? I didn't do anything. Why should I say I'm sorry? It's their fault. And the way you're saying I'm sorry is not that you're guilty of anything, but that you've been unconscious. The example I use is you say that you've gone to a grocery store. It's crowded in New York. You go into the store over there, you go to Whole Foods or wherever you are fancy to go, and you bump into somebody. Don't you say I'm sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not going to be punished, but you were unconscious in that moment and accidentally bumped somebody and naturally said, I'm sorry. That's the same level and attitude and perception that you're using when you say, I'm sorry to the divine. It's basically, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know where it came from. Please forgive me is similar to that. Because you're also saying, please forgive me and my ancestors, because in Ho'oponopono they say, you have downloaded programming from the beginning of time. Not just from grandpa and grandpa or your immediate parents, but it says it seeps down through consciousness, ends up in your DNA, in your unconscious. And if you look at some psychology and Carl Jung and the collective unconscious, that's a shared unconscious. And so we can inherit limiting beliefs and programming from others, not knowing it. And so we're saying, please forgive me for wherever this came from. From me unconsciously, from my parents unconsciously, from their parents, grandparents, all the way down to amoeba. Thank you. One of my favorite phrases. But you're saying, thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for clearing me. Thank you for taking care of this situation. Thank you for making all of us whole again. Thank you for bringing peace to us. This whole event is Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. This is leading to that inner peace. You know what's between you and inner peace? A thought, a belief, a limitation. Ho'oponopono is a way to erase them. And to erase them whether you know what they are or not. I love you. I love you is my all-time favorite phrase. And I've often told people on stages around the world, if you just walked around in your head saying, I love you all the time, the world would change. You would act differently, you would feel differently, you would emit differently. People would respond to you differently because they're responding to the unconscious vibe that you're sending out. And if you're sending out, I love you all the time, you are doing Ho'oponopono and cleaning up all of the perceptions keeping you from the miracle of now, and you're taking care of your inner serenity. You are attaining peace of mind. That's from I love you, which has gratitude and everything else woven into it. Now, I've been doing this long enough that I hear questions, and I'll give you a chance to ask me some questions. Some people say, what order do you say them in? I typically have been doing what I've done here is I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I asked Dr. Hulen many times, and he said, it doesn't matter. What feels right to you. Mix it up. He says, what matters is that you say them. And when you say them, just for the record, it's silently. You're not walking up to people and saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, which they won't understand. Or maybe they will if they've been to an event like this. Common question, what about healing another person with Ho'oponopono? My favorite example of Dr. Hulen at the state hospital. You know what he was trying to do? This is an important lesson. This is the big takeaway. He was not trying to heal those patients. He was not trying to heal those patients. He was trying to heal himself of his reactions and triggers and responses and perceptions and judgments of those patients. Huge difference. And it's also why all the previous therapists, social workers, doctors did not get results. They went the traditional way, and I will change you with therapy, with drugs, with shackling them, with whatever that they wanted to use. Dr. Hulen said, I will change me, himself. As he changed himself, as the story unfolded, and I checked out to find out it's all true, the patients started to get better. They didn't have to be shackled. They didn't have to be sedated. Within months, some of them were being released. Within years, within 4 years, almost all of them were released back into society, pronounced healthy, normal, fit for duty in life. Dr. Hulen was not trying to change them. This is the biggest thing because people read the first book, which was Zero Limits. People have heard me speak. They've seen movies. I got a movie in production now about this. And so the word is out there. What's the first thing everybody wants to do? Is tell somebody else to do it. And the way Dr. Hulen said it was, nobody else has to do it. Only you. Only himself. Which is why on that very first phone call, he was telling me, my only duty is to clean. Clean, clean, clean. What is he cleaning? Himself. So when it comes to healing another person, believe me, I hear this all the time. You want to heal what you think needs healed in the other person. The word Ho'oponopono means to make right. And what are you making right? Your perceptions. Your perceptions are the ones that are tainting the situation and calling it bad or calling it a need or a crisis for healing. But what I found and what Dr. Hulen found and what the whole story proves is that if you see somebody else who needs a healing, you're the one experiencing their need for a healing. The need you're experiencing is in you. You take care of that need in you, your trigger, your judgment, and you may be inspired to do something, but you may also release the psychic hold you have on that person that may even be contributing to them staying where they're at. Now, I'm telling you advanced concepts. Napoleon Hill didn't know this stuff. He died in 1970, and almost nobody knew about Ho'oponopono because at that point it was still in the Polynesian closed circles of that society. So I'm giving you very advanced stuff, and it might even stretch you quite a bit. How long do you say these? I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. How long do you say these? I heard till it works. My answer is forever. Never stop. Ever stop. Dr. Hulen once told me, he says, if you knew the cleaning and cleansing and rearranging that the divine was doing because of you doing Ho'oponopono, you would never stop doing it. Because you're clearing situations before they become issues. I've likened my continued use of Ho'oponopono as being like the snowplows at night. Now, when I was in Texas, that didn't make sense to people because we didn't have snowplows. But up here you would understand, and in snow country you would understand. But you also have city sweepers that go out in almost all the cities. And what are they doing? In the middle of the night, 3 a.m., while you're sleeping, they go and clear the roads. You don't even know it. Because you get on the road, say 9 a.m., and you're driving, and hopefully it's clean and clear, But you don't know, and you don't think, and you don't thank the person who cleaned it for you. That's Ho'oponopono in real life. When I do Ho'oponopono, I'm imagining in my life that the path ahead gets opened up before I even get to it. If there were potential pitfalls, places where I can fall in the ditch, they get resolved. The psychic street cleaners, if you will, the esoteric ones, go through ahead because I'm saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, even when there isn't a specific issue for me to say it for. I am cleaning the road ahead. And we talked about why I'm sorry if I did nothing wrong. That's like being in a store too crowded, you bump somebody. What issues can this be used for? Okay, I wrote Zero Limits around 2005. I followed it up with a book called At Zero 10 years later. I wrote another book called The Fifth Phrase 5 years after that. And I have another book coming out in 2 weeks, as Carla mentioned, called Zero Limits Living. So I have heard from everybody. And I did 3 live events with Dr. Hulen. And the videos are out there. You can see some on YouTube, some are for sale as the complete workshops we did. And so I've heard everything you can imagine. Anything that you're going through in your mind right now, in your life right now, it has been handled by somebody before you with Ho'oponopono. Now, sometimes people will ask me for one of my most memorable stories, and there have been numerous ones, for a guy who has been homeless, who has been through poverty, to live the lifestyle of the rich and famous, to be president of the Napoleon Hill Institute, to win the Lifetime Achievement Award from the US president, to have my own movie, to be in the other movie. I mean, this is mind-blowing. And it's constantly evolving and constantly getting better and better. I'm in my 70s, and it's getting better and better. It's amazing. Thank you. What issues can this be used for? One that I tell is, it's an emotional one, which is one reason I'm full of energy while I'm up here, because I knew I would say this sooner or later. It was several years ago. My mother was dying, and I was traveling. It was before COVID and everything, and I was very busy. I had new books, I had new movies, I had speaking engagements, traveling around the world, very busy time, and it had been for years. And the family was being called in. This is urgent. This is her time. Get home. So I did. And the whole family went home. I was born and raised in Ohio, so we're up in northeastern Ohio. Go to the hospital, and she's in the intensive care. The intensive care was intense. There's 4 other people besides my mother, and 3 of them die while I'm there. And I had seen one guy who was in a stroke, and he was just frozen in whatever his last position was. I mean, I got chills now remembering this. And my mother's there, in bed, semi-conscious, and the rest of the family, the whole family's there. I got 2 brothers, sister, my dad's there. We're all there, and nobody knows what to do. We're in shock, confusion, grief, and I'm even angry. Angry. How does this happen to my mother? With all I know, all I teach, all she's heard, what she's tried, how does this happen? And so I'm in this place of helplessness. And I have 2 doctorates, neither one of them in medicine. I have nothing to contribute. So all I knew to do was sit beside her in a chair and say Ho'oponopono. And believe me, I was not at peace. We talk about peace of mind, I was not at peace. Everything from tears to fears to I had nothing even to say to comfort my family there. And I'm the oldest in the family and the one who's been out in the world as a self-help teacher. A part of me is putting even more pressure on me, thinking I should know what to do. I should know what to say. I got nothing. And so I'm there, and I just say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry. I'm doing it over and over and over again, just that's it. I'm not saying it out loud, I'm not saying it to her. I'm saying it inside myself. Why am I doing it? To bring peace of mind to me. to bring peace of mind to me. My ego wasn't so big to think that I could heal her, but I had learned that if I could heal myself, which was under my control, at least to the extent I understand it, if I can heal myself, maybe it will influence her, maybe I'll be inspired with some way to influence her, or maybe I'll be able to accept the godlike wisdom that every one of us is going to pass at some point, and maybe it's her day. So I'm doing Ho'oponopono until they actually come in and say, visiting hours are over, you come back tomorrow. I admit I was not at peace. I was lighter. I was more trusting. I was more relaxed. I was not at peace. I was not there. I go home, I do the Ho'oponopono, I keep doing it. The next morning we go back. My mother's sitting on the side of the bed putting her shoes on and wants to go home. And she did go home for the next 4 years. Now, did Ho'oponopono heal her? No, I don't think so. Ho'oponopono healed me. And whatever that repercussion was, whatever the mirror effect was, whatever universal intelligence, Napoleon Hill, God bless him, he said infinite intelligence. I've always thought that was a brilliant way to discuss this thing, this power that's bigger than all of us. It, in whatever wisdom it has, says she gets a few more years. Take her home. That's my story. I have lots of stories and I've heard lots of stories, but I want to make this real for you. You know, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to tell anybody, but I invite you to pick something that's going on in your life right now. A problem, a challenge, a concern, and it doesn't have to be in that area. It could be something you're longing to create. You could use Ho'oponopono to accelerate the law of attraction, for example, because all of this is about removing your limitations. Everything I'm doing, my brand, my books, the show that I'm doing, the movie I'm doing, they're all called zero limits. I'm moving you in the direction of zero limits because I'm finding, as I question all of the limits, that I don't really think there are any. So you can use Ho'oponopono, and I'm inviting you to make this real right now on something you desire and it hasn't happened yet, so maybe you're a little frustrated. Or there's a problem, there's a challenge, there's a person, there's something going on in your life, in your business. You're not quite happy about it. You can be honest with yourself. It's very important that you know what these problems and desires are. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody, you don't have to tell me. I'm not going to call on anybody, it's yours. And then you take responsibility for it in the sense that how you are experiencing it is unique to you. If it's a problem and you say, oh, this is with my sibling or this is with my daughter, guess what? You're calling it a problem and you're pointing to your daughter is not out there. The naming of it and the feeling of it is in you. This is profoundly different from how the rest of the world outside the doors is handling life. They're wanting to change people, remove people, cancel them out, cancel the problems out. And I'm saying, okay, let's go inside and realize, okay, you got a problem. You've already named it inside yourself or a desire. And whatever anxiety you're feeling about it, it's inside you. It's not out there. You might say the trigger's out there. You feel it in here. And as you're feeling it inside of yourself without blame on anybody, you can pretend that you're talking to whatever infinite intelligence is for you, which could be God, which could be a higher power, which could be a deity, which could be any name, Buddha, it doesn't matter. 1,000 names for this higher power. And you're taking this request and saying it in the 4 phrases. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And let me break it down and give you another gift here. When you're saying these 4 phrases, you're basically saying, I'm sorry for wherever this problem came from. I have no idea what my participation has been, whether it is my beliefs, consciously or unconsciously. I have no idea, but I'm sorry for it. Like bumping somebody in the store. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive my ancestors. Please forgive anybody across my downline, in my lifeline, that could have contributed to this. Thank you for cleaning it up, cleaning me up, healing me, clearing me, making a difference in my life with all concerned. And I love you. I love you for the process. I love you for the healing. I love you for the clearing. I love you for this breakthrough. I love you. And this is what I invite you to do right now. You got your problem, you got your feeling, you got your perception. You can close your eyes for a moment if you like. You can leave them open if you like. But inside yourself, you're talking to what you think is your connection. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And just take 30 seconds to do that. I love you. I'm sorry. Please. Obviously, this is an introduction to a technique to help you have peace of mind. Grow Rich with Peace of Mind was Napoleon Hill's one of the last books that were published during his lifetime. And as he got elderly, he also got more spiritual. If you know from the early writings, or if you read Think and Grow Rich, you're going to find very little about God. He used infinite intelligence, which I still applaud. I think that was genius. But in later years, he started moving into spirituality. And Ho'oponopono is very much a spiritual technique. You can call it a therapeutic one. It is used in therapy, psychotherapy. It is used in group techniques. I made it very popular with the first book, Zero Limits. That was the one that came out in 2005. And I'll tell you a behind-the-scenes story here. When the movie The Secret came out and the whole world just went bananas, you know, you're talking about nuclear reactions to this movie. And Larry King did 3 shows, and I was on 2 of them, and Oprah did 3 shows, and they were all like infomercials. Time did a thing, Newsweek did a thing, I was in those. As this fire of enthusiasm was bubbling up for this movie out of nowhere called The Secret. And everybody's getting on the bandwagon for the law of attraction. I was kind of bored with it, which was odd timing, because now everybody wants me to talk about law of attraction, and I'm like, yeah, but I got Ho'oponopono. It's better. It goes beyond it. And I came out with Zero Limits right after, on the heels of The Secret coming out. And I always felt like this was the more important book. The law of attraction is like training wheels on learning to create a new reality. And it's wonderful training wheels. We want that. Too many of us have been a victim, myself included. And then The Secret comes along and we learn that, oh, we have some power? Fantastic. But a little later you find out you don't have all the power. And that's when you have to let go. But what do you let go to? You let go to God, infinite intelligence, whatever that phrase is. So if you're curious, I would read that book, Zero Limits, which came out in 2005. There's an audio version that does have Dr. Hulen and me reading the book. And Dr. Hulen died in 2022. There are some YouTube videos so you can see him. If you want to see the final seminar we did, which I thought was the best, go to zerolimits3.com, zerolimits3.com. And you can buy a ticket and watch the whole thing. To me, it was 3 days of mind-stretching stuff. A friend of mine had asked me what it was like to be there, and I said it was like Dr. Hulen reached into my brain, pulled it out, remolded it, and put it back. And I was still trying to adjust to the changes. Very profound stuff. Zero Limits 3. The new book, went in the wrong direction. The new book is Zero Limits Living, which I take everything, the law of attraction, Ho'oponopono, things that I have talked about in my life in a fragmented way, and now 7 decades into my life, I put it together, and I had a lightning bolt of an experience of enlightenment and put it all into this thing called zero limits living. Because where I'm going in my life, and as I mentioned earlier, where I want to take all of you, is to the experience of having zero limits. I mean, if you really imagine right now that all the things you think are limits, and you got all the reasons for them and all the excuses for them, all the rationale for them, what if none of that was true? I love Napoleon Hill's quote, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Oh, I so love it. I wish I had written it. And I did enough research to see that there's variations of it from very famous people like Muhammad Ali, almost word for word saying it, and Jesse Jackson, almost word for word saying it. I don't know if they got it from Napoleon Hill, but he was pointing in the direction of what I'm calling zero limits. So here's what I want to challenge you with. I want you to think of something you want to have, do, or be. It can be anything. And again, it's private. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell anybody. Something you would like to have, do, or be. Maybe you already have it. You've already been at this event for today. You've read Napoleon Hill. You've been stimulated. You've been encouraged. You've been inspired. Now, the next question would be, what would be bigger than that goal? What would be bigger than that goal? I heard years ago, I never forgot it, a billionaire said, if you go to a party and you tell people what your goal is and they don't think you're crazy, then you haven't thought big enough. And I went, oh, that's good. That's good. So whatever your goal is, what would be bigger? What would be bigger than that? Well, it's not in there. What would be bolder than that? If you really felt like, wow, I have no limits. I am the most powerful person. I am molded in the shape of the God force. I have untapped potential within me. If I really come from that perspective, what would be bolder? Forget crazy. This is beyond crazy. What is bolder than the goal you just wrote? Well, let's go one more. What would be badder than that? What would be a badass, I said it, what would be a badass version of your goal? What would be bigger? What would be bolder? What would be badder than what you already wrote down? I'm going to tell you, you can have that. You can have that. I had asked them to put a whiteboard up here. This is our version of it. We got a white pad. And the last minute, we got it up here. So I want you to imagine that your consciousness right now is a blank slate. That underneath those thoughts you're having, underneath those excuses and beliefs and doubts and everything you're thinking about what I said, underneath of it is a whiteboard, is a white pad, is the sky of consciousness. That sky of consciousness, that white page, that whiteboard, has no limits. When you come from that, when you come from this consciousness, you can have, do, or be anything that you can conceive, believe, and achieve. All the things, because I know you're sitting right there, and most of the time what we're thinking is, how do I do it? How do I do it? I don't have the time, I don't have the experience, I don't have the youth or the age or the wisdom or the education. You can go on forever. Every one of those things is what you would write up here. And you would imagine that you're writing your own limitations on this power base of consciousness. And I'm inviting you to erase them. I'm inviting you to go for your dreams, but not the wimpy dreams. The bigger, bolder, badder dreams. So take whatever you wrote down or had in your thoughts as your intention, as your goal, and now elevate it and really be honest. What is going to be bigger, bolder, badder? And keep reminding whatever you tell yourself is what you're writing as a limitation on the white pad. Underneath of it, you're Superman or superwoman. All right. In the few minutes that I have left, I would like to take a couple questions. And I have 3 books. So I will give one to each person who asked the question, which means I'm going to, at least, here's my first question.
Yeah, I'll come over to
Go
you
ahead.
with the mic.
And she's going to come with the mic, but I can repeat it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. So when I first learned Ho'oponopono, our coach had taught us about the Aka chord.
Yes.
Did he ever speak about that to you? And
Yes.
then have you used that, because I know you say you use this on a daily basis.
Yes.
Do you use the Aka chord with every single person that you meet?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank you for the question. Zero Limits Living. It's the only copy I have here. This is the one that comes out in 2 weeks. This is already being pre-ordered. This is your copy. You're welcome.
How many?
The Aka
How
chord.
many?
What?
No.
I haven't even answered.
How many times we need to?
Oh, wait, you got it.
Am I just taking questions, or do I get the answer?
How many?
Because it looks like people want books, and they're just going to ask questions. She was asking about the Aka chords, AKA, and I do write about it in Zero Limits. I don't know that I write about it in that book, but in the Zero Limits, the first one I do. The Aka chords, think of them as spider web connections to everybody you've been involved in your life. So we're not just talking about lovers or family members, but the interactions. We're actually all connected. We all have these little spider webs coming to us right now. This is a moment in our lives, which is totally fine, unless it ends up being a negative moment and you want to cut the cord. And one of the things Dr. Hulen talked about was using the visual. You actually imagine that there was a cord there, and if it's a spider web cord, what do you do with the spider webs? Yeah, it's gone. But sometimes, and I've had this happen, I've gone through a divorce, I know what this is like when you got a metal pipe going to the other person. And it's like, you got to bring out the buzzsaw. And literally, in the imagination, Dr. Hulen would say, you pick out whatever tool is got to cut the cord. I picked him up at the airport one time for an event, and I was showing him my new business cards. I don't even know why, I was bragging or something. It's like, hey, I have a business card. And he said it was a cleaning tool, which I liked hearing. And he said, whenever there is an image that I don't like, I could imagine taking the card and cutting it up. Or if there was an Aka chord between me and somebody, and I wanted to cut it, I can use the magic card. Again, this is it's imagery. And I would cut it. So it's a very powerful technique. And Hawaiians use it a lot. Yeah, great question. Thank you. All right, somebody wanted a book.
How many times?
He's already got a mic, yes.
How many times we need to do this? I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. Is there any minimum number of times we need to say? Or
I'm chuckling at the question because I hear that question a lot. Everybody wants the minimum effort. Like, I'm going to go to the gym. How many push-ups? How many push-ups do I have to do? Just give me the minimum. And there is no minimum. What I was saying earlier and what I want to reiterate, and I have this book, The Secret to Attracting Money, one of my early books. If you would like to have it, this is yours. Thank you. Thanks for the question. You don't want to stop. You don't want to think in terms of, I have to do 25 of these. They're not like Hail Marys in the Catholic Church. You go to the priest and he says, you do 12 of these and 5 of these and 6 of these and don't do it again. It's like, no, you start this as a meditation practice. And whether there's something that you're specifically focusing on or you're just wanting the peace of mind that comes from the clarity of that consciousness, you do it all the time. You do it on a regular basis.
do we need to concentrate on the problem? Or we can
Good question. He's asking, do you need to concentrate on the problem? I have found that I get better results with Ho'oponopono if there is an actual problem because it's a target. I now have something to focus on. I don't actually prefer that because it means I've decided there's a problem and I got to work on the problem. But I have found that if there is a problem, yes, that's absorbing my consciousness, it's in my perception, got to take responsibility and then clean it up.
But without even having a problem, if you just keep on doing,
slowly or even quickly. Yeah. But you're not doing it to get rid of the problem. You're doing it to get rid of your perception of the problem.
Yeah, but we may not be knowing the problem perceiving.
Right.
If you basically keep on doing it.
Yep. You would keep on doing it.
If you concentrate on the problem, you only concentrate in one area of the problem, which you don't know the underlying problem.
Yes, and you don't need to know the other problems or the outlying problems. The way Ho'oponopono works is that you're taking care of whatever the essence is. And even when you're saying, please forgive me and I'm sorry, you're admitting, I don't know where this came from or how deep this is or how it's connected to anything. But please heal it. That's what you're really saying. You've got somebody there?
Yes. Hi.
Okay.
Dr. Joe, I just want to thank you for your approach and the truth that you're using as you're explaining the concepts in your book. I have a question for you. Have you ever read the book St. John of the Cross? When he talks about 4 levels of holiness, are you familiar with any of that?
It's, as much of a book addict that I am, I have to admit I have not read that book.
Okay, I'll just tell you it in brief. So there's these 4 levels, and the first one is it's essentially learning to love people as God loves us, and that's the 4th level. And so I too am in healthcare, and I understand people are at all different places in life, but it's very interesting because even St. John of the Cross, who had a lot of experience in this, it wasn't even until the 4th level that he actually got the concept to love others as God loves us. And that, I believe, is similar to what you're saying. Would you agree, or?
Yes, I would definitely agree. I'm going to say something else, but this is your book. This is
Thank
Money,
you.
Love, Speed. It's the last of the 3 I bought.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. What I wanted to say is, and she just reminded me of it, Dr. Hulen really didn't want to keep speaking anymore. He was just wanting to take walks and work in his garden and live in Hawaii. And he did say one thing that I never forgot, and this is the important message for all of you. He said he went for a walk, and when he came back, there were tears in his eyes, and he said, the divine told me to tell you the only thing whatever you want to call him, he, the divine, wants you to know. The only thing the divine wants you to know is you are loved. You are loved. That's it. We don't need to be performing, to be seeking, to be looking for the next credential, for the next award, whatever it is that you think you need for approval from parents or from the divine. You don't need it. You're already loved. And by being already loved, it means whatever you do after it is because you cleanly, clearly, purely, simply want to do it. No hidden agenda. You're not having to please God. You're already loved.
Thank you for that.
Dr. Vitale.
Wow.
Yes, that's right. So the question that I have is, there's people that you want to bring up to a level of awareness, and you're at a higher level, they're at a lower level, and we're all, or a lot of us are in sales. How do you find yourself going to that level where they are, and then raising them up to the point? And an example that I'll give that maybe a lot of people will know. I taught my daughter how to drive from almost smashing into a church in the parking lot to driving on a I-5 across the bridges in Seattle within 2 hours. And so it can be done, and I think all of us can do that. But the challenge that we have is conveying that faith so that people will come on board with us.
Yeah.
And they will have the faith that we have. So if you could answer that, that would be spectacular.
Easy peasy. Can somebody Google that? We can find, get artificial intelligence to answer it for you. That's, everybody's turning to that.
Coming down to the level,
Yep.
bringing people back up to your awareness
Yeah.
level.
Okay, there's 2 or 3 things I want to say here, and I don't want to keep you forever. I don't know how much time I have here. Are we down to minutes or what?
Yeah, we just have a few minutes, and then I think we have one more question after this one.
All right. First of all, the way I've been, maybe always been living my life, but the way that I am at least currently aware of living my life is to be totally transparent with you. I don't think in terms of levels. I don't think that way at all. I still wrestle with insecurity, with self-image, with not being good enough. When they contacted me about receiving the US President Lifetime Achievement Award, I thought it was a joke or a mistake, a cruel pun of some sort. Even when I received it and they're putting the ribbon around my neck, I'm like, this is not right. Because the internal experience isn't thinking that I'm at some sort of level. And then the other part of it is about influencing people. I definitely, despite my own internal struggles and what I go through, and I'm sure all of us are doing this. This is why I'm being transparent with you. I'm not singling myself out. I'm saying, I'm one of you. I'm you. And when I hear that divine loves me, I want you to know that divine loves you because it makes a big difference. And so I am aware that some people don't have the stories I have or the experiences I have, and I can name people, my own sister. Some of you that have known my career know that I wrote a book called Spiritual Marketing for my sister in the 1990s because she was on welfare and struggling, and I was just coming out of homelessness and poverty and found a way out. And I wrote that little book, and that little book is what became the Attractor Factor. The Attractor Factor, thanks to Bob Proctor, who promoted me in the book, got me invited to be in the movie The Secret. And being in the movie The Secret changed my life for, it's still happening, even now, a couple decades later. But it didn't change her. She's still broke, she's still struggling, she's still complaining. And for me, it feels like one of the greatest disappointments of my life. It's like, I wrote this for you. Look at the millions of people who have been impacted by this. I just saw her a couple months ago. We went for a wedding, and she was still in the same dark boat. And there was nothing I could say or do because it was all being batted down or dismissed. And all I knew and know to do is to love her and to love her. I want to say one more thing. I see your hand there, but.
Yeah, so within the context of the Ho'oponopono,
Yes.
do you see that?
Yes.
Not seeking to self, debase, but is that a way that you can use that maybe to heal more of yourself? Like
Yes.
you're just talking
Yes.
about your
Yeah.
self-image, because I think all of us,
Yeah.
ultimately we're dealing with our own self-image as we
Yep.
present these types of materials.
Yes, absolutely. When I say I do Ho'oponopono on a regular basis, I do it all the time, day and night. It's even the background audio that goes on in my head because when I first started doing it in 2005, I had to remind myself and write the phrases down because I didn't have them memorized. Now it's going on right now in the back of my head as I talk to you. So I do it. And with situations like people like my sister, for example, and I'm in her presence, I got to turn within and do the I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, trying to find what is the whole event about, that peace of mind. Out of peace of mind, maybe she'll respond, maybe she'll hear something. The only way that I know to influence and change people is by inspiring them through example. That's the only way. I have made all the breakthroughs I've had because I read books by people who did what I wanted to do. And by reading the book, I realized, oh, they were homeless. Look where they're at. They wanted to do such and such. They managed to do it. It gave me hope. It gave me a pattern. It gave me strategy. It inspired me. That's the way to change people.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great question. Yes.
Thank you. We're going to take one more question right over here.
I hear there's one more question.
One more question,
Okay.
Dr. Vitale. Ho'oponopono in business.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me.
Oh,
$1 billion.
okay.
How? No, Ho'oponopono in business. How do you go about that in a business sense?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. Wonderful question. She's asking me Ho'oponopono in business. In the first book, Zero Limits, I tell the story of the guy who held the record for car sales, for example. And he said he used Ho'oponopono. I met this guy, interviewed this guy, talked to him because I had been a car salesman like 6 decades ago. And I met with him and asked him, well, how are you doing this? Because you're not saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, as you're filling out a form or showing people the car. But he is internally. So he meets you and you say, I'm here to look for a car, I'm not ready to buy. And he's like, go with that. Hears it every day, right? But inside himself, he's going, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you say, I really want it from my daughter, she's got to graduate. And inside he's going, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And then he says, what, is there something you're looking for? And he does the car salesman thing. He's getting answers to questions. He's got to go and show you the cars. But inside, he's totally at peace whether you buy or not. That, I think, is the key. He's doing Ho'oponopono on any of the desperation that's often there when we want to make a sale. We've all been there, right? You only want to get somebody to sign. And yeah, and we push them away. We push them away with our desperation. There was a company that was trying to hire me they wanted to do some kind of advertising for my business. And they had a long list of clients and all kind of testimonials and came highly recommended. But they just smelled a little bit too much of desperation. Something wasn't right. And so I'm doing Ho'oponopono inside myself, and my answer was, I don't know why, but I can't hire you. And just pass. I hear from people that one of the most famous Ho'oponopono practitioners is Mabel Katz, K-A-T-Z, could be Katz. And she was an IRS auditor. And that's how this works. And she, again, as we're having conversations, in fact, I asked Dr. Hulen this too, because he had been a therapist. I said, how are you talking to people if you think the only thing that's important is Ho'oponopono? How are you carrying on a conversation? He says, I asked them their name, I asked them their story, I asked everything that you would normally ask. And he's listening, but inside he's also saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry. He's doing the whole prayer. And he's attributing that serenity that he's bringing to the table as making a difference. And as for the IRS auditor and the accountant that I knew and everything, they said it themselves. They were secretly using Ho'oponopono to get the results that they wanted. And they were getting audits canceled, they were getting refunds, they were getting breakthroughs, much like the salesman who held the record for the most number of sales, but he wasn't going there to be, this pushy car salesman. He's going there to be kind of a spiritual, hidden Ho'oponopono practitioner disguised as a car salesman.
well, I owe the IRS $250,000 and I've been buying time, so I'm going to do Ho'oponopono and I'll let you know the testimony.
I had... The other thing I'll point out is when we hear this and it's all part of our experience, we can clean on this for her. Because it's in your experience now, so I'm experiencing it and I'm saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I had dear friends of mine who owed almost $250,000 to the IRS. They couldn't pay it, they kept going on and on and on until the IRS settled with them for settled for next to nothing. Again, zero limits, anything is possible. Erase all the limits and expect miracles.
Yes.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful.